this is Syntax, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how you can make a working pair of dice in Fortnite Creative. Let's get into it. For this design, you're going to need 2 random number generators, 12 HUD message devices, 12 triggers, and 13 channels to hook everything up. So if you're already on a map that is using a ton of channels, maybe this is not the design for you. I am actually here on my newest map, Fortnite. If you haven't checked it out, go ahead and go check it out. But I already have a pair of working dice built on here, so I figured what's the point in building new ones when I already have ones that work. So yeah, let's get into how this works. First thing you're going to want to set up is 2 almost identical random number generators, just like this. So I'm going to go over to my first one I set up here. Have your value limit 1 be 1, and value limit 2 be 6. Have this be 0, and then roll time. This one's going to be instant, and for the other one is going to be 1. Otherwise, they're exactly identical. Let's see. Have everything set how I have here. You want your score value to be the roll amount, even though we're not actually having a score because it's just going to be set. It's not actually going to be adding or subtracting. I have the zone set to backwards. This just creates your zone just like a sequencer would. Just put this wherever you want. Just make sure your triggers are in it. And then I have the length. The length doesn't matter as long as you have your value limits 1 and 2 set to 1 and 6. And also the width and height doesn't really matter. This you won't be able to hear if you set it far away, so have that however you want. And then activating team, if it's dice, obviously you want this to be for everyone. And then I have these hooked up on channel 7. So like I said, this one's only difference is that its roll time is set to 1 second, and the other one's set to instant, because this one is the second dice and the first one was the first die. And as you can see, this is also hooked up on channel 7. So for the thing that's triggering the random number generators, I actually do have a mini pair of dice set up here on my Fortnite map, and obviously this is when interacted with transmit on channel 7, as you can see. So when you hit this, it is going to set off the random number generators. So yeah, let's look at what happens next. Next thing you're going to want to do is grab yourself a trigger. Well, not just one trigger, actually 12 triggers, but you're going to set it up exactly like this. So I'll go ahead and go over the settings now. Have all this turned off except for trigger by sequencer, because the random number generator is technically a sequencer. We don't want this activating on game phase. We want it to trigger infinite amount of dice rolls. Unless you want to have X amount of dice rolls, then the max you can do is 10. But I'd have it set to infinite. Every one. Have these none and disabled. Visible in game. Remember, it can't get activated by sequencer if it's not visible in game, so that's important. And have this set to 1 channel higher than whatever your random number generators are. So my random number generators were 7. This is going to be 8. Now you're going to set up 6 more triggers in this one, or I mean 5 more triggers. And the only difference is they're going to be activated on 1 higher channel. So as you can see, this one is when trigger transmit on 9, 10, 11, 12, and so forth and so on. And then this is the exact same, except it is starting at 14 because that one ended at 13, and it is going up through 19. And yeah, that now you have most of your dice rolling set up. The last thing we're going to do for this design is have 12 separate HUD message devices. And basically what we're going to do, as you can see here, I have it for 2 seconds because I feel like that's enough to read. But here it says die 1 is 1. So when you roll and it lands on this, it's saying your first die, you've got a 1. And I have this set to all, so all the players can see what you rolled. You can mess with these settings, have it displayed wherever you want, top center, bottom center, or center right, wherever, it doesn't matter. I have this hooked up to channel 8. Now, if you remember, this over here is also hooked up to channel 8. So when this random number generator, I'll hit it right now, it didn't land on channel 8, but if it did, it would hit this trigger, and it would transmit onto this, and it would say you got 1 for your first die. Now this one is the exact same, except this one is hooked up on channel 9, which was the next channel in our first simulated dice. And as you can see, it still says die 1, only this time it says you rolled the 2. Same thing with this. This one's 3. As you can guess, this one's 4, 5, 6. And then for this one, the one that is hooked up on channel 14 through 19, as you can see, this is also hooked up, except the only difference is this is die 2. So this one is obviously triggered when, or shows when receiving from 14, and it says die 2. You obviously got a 1. If you can guess, yes, this shows 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So when you hit those buttons, these will both go off at the same time. This will get shown first because its roll time is instant, and this will get shown second because its roll time actually takes a second. As you can see, it actually messes around for a second, and then this one is instant. So it will tell you your first die, and then after that, it will tell you your second die. And yeah, it is completely random. And just to prove to you, I will show you. So I am actually in the game now, and as you can see, I'm going to go to my dice, which is hooked up on channel 7, which is hooked up where the random number generators are. Remember, it doesn't have to be channel 7. Just make sure they're linked up properly. And I'm going to go ahead and roll dice. As you can see, die 1 says 6, die 2 says 3. Now, it might say it again. Of course, no, it doesn't because it's completely random. So then I got a 3 and a 5. As you can see, it shows your die 1 and die 2. Now, You could have it all hooked up onto one channel, but it's dice, so I mean you have possibility of rolling doubles, and that usually has special usage in most games with die. So yeah, just you can use 12 channels, all the same random number generator, but I think it's more efficient just to do this because, as you can see, a dice has 1 through 6 on it, and I just keep rolling, and it will be random every time. If you get back to back same numbers, it's completely random. There's no pattern it follows or anything. So yeah, that is how you make working dice in Fortnite Creative. Anyway, guys, I hope this video helped you out, and yeah, this has been Syntax. Later.